Hello everyone and welcome to the 8th generation of the new Ford Taurus that promises to be spacious, practical, luxurious and pretty much economical to drive for everyday purposes. But this luxury mid-size sedan has to offer a lot more than just that, because there's a lot of technological advancement. There's lots of things that I wanted to show you, especially the exterior. There is a lot more things that are going on. So in today's video, we're going to be finding out everything in detail about this new Ford Taurus. So this new Ford Taurus is offered in 3 different variants, which is the Ambient, Trend and the Titanium, and the one that I'm reviewing today is the top of the line Titanium version. We start off from the front. So you get this big grille out here in this black color glossy plastic, and there's also this Ford badging with the chrome surround around it. But notice these fins out here on the grille. So when I actually lock or unlock the car, these fins actually move around. Yeah, look at that. They actually move around. That's a pretty cool feature, and it's, I don't know if it's an aerodynamic purposes or something to channel more air or something, but it definitely is an eye-pleasing feature, because every time pretty like that. And at the bottom there is another glossy plastic on the bottom side of the bumper, and an opening at the bottom for more intake of the air. And around these headlights you would find these sort of vents and slots, but these are not real vents or anything, just for the design purposes. Whereas there are real vents which are given out here on the side, so air goes inside and channels back from the outside. And the whole front fascia actually looks very similar to the new Ford Territory, the review of which I've recently done. So you can click on the pop-up banner out here, you can watch the detailed review video of that. But if you're going to be continuing, so on top you have these DRLs which are given in an L shaped on both the sides. Top bit has DRLs and also the turn signals at the bottom, whereas the headlights are given out here on either side, and these headlights are LED headlights. Plus even their DRLs and the turn signals, everything is LED. There is also a light bar in the front that has been given, so it makes like a seamless headlight cluster from the top. So these DRLs continue from one end to the other. Now on the sides, on this titanium model, you get 19-inch silver color alloy rims out here, and on the Ambient variant you get 17 inches, whereas on the Trend ones you get the 18-inch wheels. And at the bottom there's no skirting or anything, but just this silver color strip that goes in the back. It looks more like a chrome, but it's a silver color, which is very glossy one. And there's also half chrome surround around these windows on top. And another feature that I want to show you all is when the car is locked, the door handles are flush. That is because these are foldable door handles, and not just that, you press them, it comes out, press them, it goes in. So that's again another cool feature, and it actually gives a very clean line on the side profile of this Taurus. Even in the back you get the 19-inch alloy rims. And in terms of these doors, this is so much fun. These are smart keyless entry doors. So all 4 doors are smart keyless entry doors, and in the front you get 4 mentioned on the door sills. In terms of these side mirrors, these are power foldable and power adjustable side mirrors. There is also blind spot warning inside it, and there is also a turn signal that has been given. And this is again in glossy black plastic. Even on top it's glossy black roof. There is also a panoramic sunroof, and there's a glass bit on top. But look at how long this car is, and the driver's side door is this big, the passenger side door is that big. So in terms of the space, there is ample of space in this new Ford Taurus. In the rear you get completely LED tail light cluster, and the tail light cluster seems to be inspired a little bit from the Ford Mustang, because these vertical lines that you see out here. And there's also a light bar in the middle, but it's actually cut, and it's not like a single one that continues from one end to the other. So when you brake, that's the time that light comes on. And even the turn signals and everything is LED inside this tail light cluster. Then there is this chrome Taurus badging out here, again the Ford badging. I'm going to come to that because this is one more feature inside of this Ford badging. And out here you get this silver color strip from one end to the other, and then you would notice like it looks like an exhaust tip, but just plastic. There's no exhaust tips out here, because the actual exhaust tips are underneath the bumper, like twin ones, and on either side. But yeah, it's kind of alright because it still doesn't look that bad. Let me know in the comment section below, what do you think these exhaust tips, I mean not the exhaust tips actually. And in terms of the visibility, it's actually quite restricted, I'm afraid, because the rear glass is quite sloping that way, so the visibility is more like a letterbox kind of thing in that sense. And there is also this black color glossy bumper on the bottom, a bit of diffuser, but it's just for the design purposes. Now in terms of the boot space, in order to open the boot door, there's no button or anything that is given out here or anywhere, or need a swipe or anything, but you press this Ford badge and you can open the boot door. Now when the rear seats are folded up, you can put 520 liters of luggage in the back, which is actually decently impressive for a mid-size sedan. And you can easily put like 2 or maybe 3 big bags in here, some more storage on the sides where you can put your smaller stuff. There are also scuff plates that are given, but there are no tying points or anything as such for your bags or anything, but it's just a boot space that has been given. It's also pretty deep that way, so there's a bit of a lip out here as well. And underneath this boot floor you would find a temporary spare wheel. And not just that, there is another cool feature that you get with this Taurus, which is this funnel. So if you say run out of fuel and you have a fuel jar but don't know how to put it into the car, then you have this funnel, so that comes in pretty handy in case you run out of the fuel. Let me put that back. Now the rear seats are foldable in a ratio of 60:40, and then there are levers given out here, so you pull them, and that's the only way actually that you can fold down those seats. But after that you have to go in the front, and this is another thing, like, you have to just only the driver's side door unlocks. And now when you fold down both the seats, there's also a seat belt for the middle passenger that goes in here, and that is why you don't get that even boot space throughout, because that belt comes in the middle. But it's only for loading longer objects in case you have some, because the opening also kind of becomes a little restricted. But the major boot space that you get is when the seats are folded up. That is pretty decent that way. It's just that deep, so you have to put a little bit of an effort to get your luggage in and out. The floor has a little bit of a slope when the rear seats are folded down, so that's the only thing. But also there is a carpet lining, so you can still easily smoothly put your luggage in and out. And then once you're done, there is no electronic boot or anything, although it's just you can open it electronically. So then there is a handle that is given out here, and the old-fashioned way, you close the boot door. Well, just like the outside, even the interior has been spruced up, and the space now looks, as I said, luxurious, super huge. And to be honest, there is ample of space inside of this one. But let me start off first with the material quality. So you get soft touch material out here on the dashboard, and then it's like a 2-step dashboard. The top bit is just normal plastic with this plastic sides, and then this speaker grill on either side, and then you have the soft touch one out here, and then it expands on the other side, so you can basically utilize something if you want to put in there. And this white color leather on the sides, again that's soft touch. Even out here it's soft touch with this orange stitching on the door cards. Yes, soft touch material. And then these stylish door handles that are cut out, and the whole dashboard and the door has this sort of curve in here, really nice. This plastic trim that has been given, then again white color leather with the orange stitching. We're going to be resting hands, that black color leather with the orange stitching. The switches are in plastic, but good amount of plastic, which is what is given, along with the chromes around that. At the bottom, the speaker grill is plastic. Out here it's plastic. On the sides out here there's leather covered halfway through, so orange stitching. This like an aluminum trim that has been given, plastic piece. This handrest, again that's leather covered with the orange stitching. And then there are also mood lights which are given out here in the door cards, in here on the dashboard and on the other side, and you can change the mood lights from the infotainment screen. There are also mood lights given out here near the center console, and the way to change it is you go into the settings, then you go on the other side, and then there is ambient lighting option where you have 7 lighting options, so you can pick one and you can select one. So very easy, not too many light options in here, but I'm actually quite alright with that. So that's your interior quality. Now when you come to the driver's display, you get an 8-inch digital driver's display, and the output from that is all right, I would say. A little bit grainy sometimes, and plus it's loaded with a lot of graphics, or for some reason it's slightly slower. And on either side you get the fuel gauge and your temperature gauge, and in the middle there is screen, and you can't change much in terms of the design of that screen. So you have digital speed, at the bottom the safety systems which are going on, like your lane keep assist and your cruise control. Or on the right side you see all the information. That information can be changed from the button given out here on the steering wheel. So you can see your first trip information, your second trip information, then your fuel economy instantaneous, the media option, then your navigation option, tire pressure, and your auto start stop function. And that is about it. Yes, that's it. It's how easy it is. I like how easy it is to just figure out everything in that sense. But the screen tends to be a little sometimes it needs a little bit of that quality, and if it was a little snappier, make things a little more quicker in here. And also there is no sort of cover on this thing, but it still manages to show me the display quite well, so that way it's pretty bright in that sense. You can also change a few settings on your driver's display. So you go into the settings, and then there is the instrument cluster where you can choose your screen, what you want to do on either side. So your trip computer, whatever you want to, that you can select from here. And then you go inside, then there is the gauges. So if you want the left gauge to be changed, or you don't want the tachometer to be seen, then you can just switch that off, and that's pretty much about it. And then the turn by turn navigation, it will show you in the middle. Now when you come to the steering wheel, this is a leather covered steering wheel with the top bit in the orange stitching, and it's a flat bottom steering wheel. There's also a chrome surround around this bottom and around the switches, and the steering wheel is manually adjustable, which is your tilt and telescopic, and it's also pretty huge steering in that sense, and it's slimmer, but it's pretty big in that sense, just like the car. And on the right side you would find the buttons to change your information on the driver's display and your media controls that has been given. And on the left side you would find the buttons for your adaptive cruise control that has been given, and the speed limiter. And not just that, you can switch this adaptive cruise control into normal cruise control also. Again, you go into the features, and then you go into the driver's assistant, and then cruise control, and then you can change to normal cruise control or the adaptive cruise control, whichever you want to. Now when you come to the air conditioning controls, there are no buttons out here. So again, there is a buttonless approach kind of given on this new Ford Taurus. So the air conditioning buttons are all gone, but instead it sits underneath on this infotainment screen. So at the bottom of that you would find your air conditioning controls. So when you go inside, you can switch it on and off, and then you can adjust the fan speed from here, and then on either side you can change the temperature. So you get dual zone air conditioning system on this Ford Taurus, so you can change either side. And if you want to use the sync operation, then there is in the middle, you can change the flow of air and everything, and then you can select the dual or the recirculation of air and all that. So that's your air conditioning controls. I think it's easier to use. It's just that it's still touch screen, so you still have to look at it to see where you're clicking. That's the only thing. And I like this soft squidgy bit out here right ahead of the infotainment screen, so you can rest your hands while you're operating this infotainment screen. Now when you come to this infotainment screen, you get a 13.2 inch colorful display out here, and it actually sits in common line with the driver's display. So there is this huge panel, so when it's switched off you would think like it's a single display, but it's been divided into two displays. So this 13.2 inch infotainment screen is decent enough, I would say, but again, you don't have a lot of color options or anything, just straightforward menu options which are given on your screen. So you have this radio option, and then you have your phone option, which are fixed ones. You can't do much with that. And on the sides, on the right side, you have the settings option, where you will see your radio, phone, sound, the vehicle option, inside which you will see all your vehicle settings, lights, locks, mirrors, and everything. Clock general, where you can change your language, temperature, measurements, touch buttons and everything, and all of that. And then there is the instrument cluster. Then there is the center display, where you can switch on the calm screen, and then it just shows you the time and your day. That's it. If you want very minimalist look, and you can click back again and come back to this screen, and then you swipe. There's connectivity, mobile apps, Ford Assistant, and the ambient lighting, and the valet mode. So to give your car for parking, you can just put it in the valet mode, so it would automatically lock all your settings out here and reduce all the settings also for you. And not just that, on the sides you would notice that a screen pops up, so it's like a dual screen, so you get your phone option and also the radio option, which are given on the sides while you navigate. And in terms of the connectivity options, you get Bluetooth, there's also a USB, and there is also Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. So navigation is sorted out, because most of the times you're just going to be using the Android Auto and the Apple CarPlay. So yeah, you have the Google Maps, and then you can use that. But again, on this screen also there is a bit of animation that is going on, and which is why it slows down this screen also slightly. Then the next option is your features, where you have the drive mode. So on this Taurus you get 3 different driving modes, which is your normal, eco, and the sport mode. Again, see on your screen there is a lot of graphics that pops up, and then takes a little while to load. Then there is the driver assistance, where you will have all your safety systems which are given in here, and the next option is your boot release door and the digital owner's manual that has been stored on this, and then the apps option, which is your Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. So all that you will find it from here, and that is your infotainment screen. That's about it. It's very easy, it's fairly straightforward. It's just that a little bit, if it becomes faster again, it makes things quite easier to use, because then you don't have to wait for those options to load up. But yeah, I like the layout of this thing, because it's very clean and it's very minimalist in that sense, and not too complicated to use. Now in terms of the charging, you get 2 USB ports which are given out here, one type C and one normal port. There is also one wireless charger that has been given right out here, which is very convenient. You just put your phone in here and just start charging. There is one more USB port which is given out here behind this rear view mirror. If you have a dash cam or anything, or if you as I said, someone like me uses GoPros, then you can charge that one. So yeah, that's also given out here. And there are 2 more USB ports which are given for the rear passengers, which are the normal and the type C. Now in terms of the storage on this Ford Taurus, in the door cards you can just put about half a liter worth of bottle, which is if you put it vertically. But if you are going to use it horizontally, you can easily put like 1 liter, 1.5 liter worth of bottle. But yeah, then you don't get enough storage after that. There's also one more small storage underneath the steering on the left side, where you can store your cards and wallets and stuff. There is this 2 flexible cup holders which has a cover, so you can close it or open it and utilize the top bit to store something or open. And then you have the flexible cup holders, and also a slot where you can put your phone out here, which is such a convenient thing. You can just leave it, and then that's actually quite nice. And there's this charging pad that you can utilize. There's one more storage with a cover on it, so you open that, there is like, you can easily put 2 half a liter worth of bottles. And then there is this big storage out here, which is not actually that big, but yeah, it has a slot to put your key. And there's also one 12-volt power socket that has been given, which I forgot. There's also space for again 2 half a liter worth of bottle. There is this glove box that has been given, which is decently big, I would say. And there is also this sunglass holder that has been given. And in the rear door cards, again, you can just put about half a liter worth of bottle. It's not that long, where you can store longer bottles in there, maybe 1 liter worth of bottle that you can store, but that's about it. And in the center armrest, you would find 2 cup holders which are given for the rear passenger. Now on this Ford Taurus, you get an SOS button that has been given, which is for your emergency purposes. Another feature that you get is a split panoramic sunroof. So you open that. I'm not gonna open the roof actually, because it's super hot and it's windy and it's sandy. Don't want the sand to come inside. But yeah, it opens from the center and it opens the sunroof for you. But the actual sunroof in the front doesn't open that much, but again, not too bothered, because it's still, this is pretty good. So you get good amount of light that enters inside and makes the appearance inside quite spacious. Not that the car wasn't spacious enough, this makes it even more bigger, and yeah, quite fun in that sense. And in terms of the gear shifter knob, now you get this circular one, so you can easily put it into the neutral, the drive, and again park. There's also a low range mode, and this thing has a very solid feel to it, and it's got the chrome ring around that. In the front there is also a volume dial, yes, like a roller one. So there is a roller dial that has been given, so you can press it to mute or increase the volume or decrease the volume. One more area where the quality is actually pretty good are the seats. So you get a mixture of leather and fabric seats, and you get a dual tone seat options out here. The seats are pretty broad right from the outset, I would like to tell you that. And the seats are a mixture of leather in dual tone, which is your black and white with the orange stitching, and also in the middle part there is this suede kind of material that has been given, very soft. And again, it won't heat up during summers because that's where essentially your bottoms are going to rest and your back, so that bit is given in fabric. Again, good thing. There's also orange stitching on the bottom bit, and get good amount of side support also, although a little bit more would be nicer, but yeah, it's just more spread out that way in that sense, the seat. But one of the most comfortable feature that I find are these headrests. Oh, they are super soft and super squidgy, and they also have this orange stitching around them. But yeah, you would really love to rest your head on this headrest, and you get decent amount of thigh support that you can adjust also. There's just that the floor is a little bit raised, but again, I'm sitting in a sedan, so yeah, the floor would be raised. I can just raise the seat a little bit to adjust that. And in terms of the adjustability of the seat, so the driver side seat is 8-way electronically adjustable and 2-way lumbar control, that is also electronic, and the passenger side seat is just 4-way electronically adjustable. Now the stocks which are given out here, they seem to have a bit of a rough edges, yeah, on the extreme end. And in terms of the headlights, if you want to switch on and off, there are buttons given on the sides, which is quite easy. You can just switch it on and off, so that is removed from the stock and instead given out here in the button form. Well, rear seats is where you want to be on this Ford Taurus, because there is just so much of space in here for the rear passengers. Look at this, the amount of knee room is like this much, I'm not even kidding. And the headroom is decent, somewhere about 6 feet will still be able to fit in here and be quite sitting in here comfortably, although the seats are slightly on the lower end, which is why you see the angles my knees are making. There's not good amount of support underneath my thigh, but to solve that, you can just stretch your legs and then things become rather comfortable. After that, you can't slide your legs under the seats, although slightly you can, but not too much, because again, as I said, the floor and the seat doesn't have too much of space in there, so yeah, there's not much to do that. Even the rear seats, they don't adjust in terms of the reclining or the adjustment of the angle in that sense. But in terms of the quality of these seats, you get the same dual tone seats out here in the leather and the fabric option. The fabric option is that suede kind of material with the orange stitching in here, and the white and the black color leather on the sides and on the top bit. And again, the headrests in the back are also super squidgy and soft. There are 3 headrests that you get, and even out here the seats are quite broad and quite thick in that sense, and they are super comfortable for longer journey especially. And the middle bit, as I said, has this suede kind of material, so yeah, it's not going to become too hot, and even in the back it's not going to become too hot during the summers. There's just leather in the middle seat, so there is a small bit of tunnel in here, not too much that would hamper the middle passenger. So when I come in the middle, yes, again, that's also quite comfortable. There's a bit of a hump in the back, that's the only thing, but again, it's still rather comfortable, I would say. And because there's so much of space in here, 3 passengers can easily sit in here with their legs having enough of space in the front and also next to each other, which is pretty important when you have a 5-seater in that sense. And when there is no passenger in the middle, you can drop down this handrest. So there is also this cover which has been given for the cup holders. There's also a slot that has been given maybe to put your phones when you have it, so you can put like 2 phones in here, so that's also pretty convenient feature. But yeah, you can only rest your hands, or if you want to utilize the handrest completely, you have to close it and then you can use it, because there are cup holders out here, you can't really use this hand rest. And there is also this split panoramic sunroof. And in terms of the quality of the door cards out here, there is this normal plastic that has been given around this door handles. I really like the style of these door handles. There's a strip of black and orange material, and there's squidgy materials on top where are going to be resting hands. Again, leather covered, orange stitching, soft bit. This handle again is plastic, even in the front it was plastic. This speaker grill is plastic, at the bottom it's plastic, and In terms of the storage, as I said, you can put about 1 liter in horizontal fashion, otherwise half a liter, that's about it. There are pocket storages in both the seats, and also there are more storages underneath of that to put your phones, again 2 more slots. So yeah, lots of utilization of space. And you also have 2 air conditioning vents which are given out here. You can only adjust the flow of air, and that's about it. There are 2 more USB ports which are given, one type C and one normal. And in terms of the visibility, it's actually very good out here because these windows are so long. And check this out, the windows roll down completely. Again, that's a pretty cool thing because it would still give you essentially this whole big visibility when you open the window from in here. But yes, overall the space out here is very good, and you can be sat here comfortable for longer journeys. And because there is so much of space, you can utilize it for 3 people to carry out here in the back. So this 2023 Ford Taurus is powered by a 2-liter 4-cylinder turbocharged EcoBoost engine that produces 232 horsepower and 388 Newton meters of torque. And its engine is mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission that sends the power to the front wheel. So it's a front wheel drive car. The gearbox and the engine combination is rather nice. Really like how smooth and gentle the whole power curve is. It's actually quite luxurious in that sense that you don't have that sudden jerk or anything. And also there's just a bit of a torque lag, that's it. There are no paddle shifters or anything, but again, doesn't matter because you're just gonna cruise around in comfort in this one. And there are drive modes, as I said, and I wish the drive mode buttons were somewhere out here, so I have to just go in every time into the screen, and then let me put it in the sport mode. And once I do that, it increases the RPMs where it changes the gears. The throttle becomes slightly more sensitive. Sorry, my bag is kind of flopping around. So yeah, you actually do a decent amount of speed, and it's very gentle in that sense. And yeah, I love this combination that has been given. Now, in terms of the efficiency from this engine, you get inside the city anywhere between 10 to 11 kilometers per liter, whereas on the longer runs you will definitely get between 13 and a half, 14 kilometers per liter for sure. So yeah, that in that sense, yes, it's a rather decent combination for a daily driver. Also, you may think that this engine may get stressed out, but actually it doesn't. It actually manages it quite well. Like, let me accelerate. It's very nice. Now, when you come to the steering, this is where I want to point out a little bit, because there is a bit of a torque steer. Now let me demonstrate you that. So let me come to a standstill and accelerate, and now we are not moving, and it takes that right turn for some reason, and it goes on the right side. Now I checked if the tire pressures were different. The tire pressures are same on both the wheels. Probably the alignment, which must be the problem, but usually when the engine is transverse, that's when, especially in a front wheel drive transverse engine, this torque steer issue happens. But otherwise, when I come to the steering itself, it's quite responsive and it's rather good, I would say. But yeah, there's that bit of the vagueness on the lower end. It tries to just come to the center all the time. Maybe caster angle is a bit needs to be corrected. And also it's electronic steering, so there's a bit of that general lack of feedback, which is pretty much in every electronic steering, to be honest. And that way, yes, the steering itself is well behaved. The car does very well in that sense. It's just that in terms of the feedback, and it kind of wrestles around, and which is why when I'm taking a the left turn, which is now, that's when it tries to give it a little bit of a push. And when I'm turning right, it's actually kind of easier in that sense. And not just that, it's when I'm accelerating harshly, that's when it's trying to go in the other direction, which just points to a torque steer. Otherwise, when I'm just going gentle without any input, the car is just going straight. So that's not even the wheel alignment in that sense. When you come to the suspensions, you get a softer setup on this one. Again, that's to give you more comfort, and the ride comfort has been the focus on this Taurus, and rightly so, because yes, it's a very gentle ride that you get on this thing. And actually, let me do a slalom and show you. There's obviously a bit of a roll, but doesn't matter because yeah, it's still kind of decent because there are vehicle dynamics and traction control that takes care of it. Yeah, I'm sorry about my bag, it's kind of disturbing. Let me just put it in the bag. So the suspensions in that sense, yeah, are gentle. Along with these seats, it gives you a very pleasant ride experience. Now when you come to the noise and the vibrations, again on the inside there is a bit of a tire noise, which I find especially at higher speeds, but wind whooshing is all right. There's not much of it. And in terms of the general quietness, yes, there's no sound from that engine, stressing out or anything. It's actually rather quiet. So in that sense, everything is rather nicer out here. Even the build quality is pretty good, so there's nothing that's giving you that annoying sounds or anything. And when you come to the brakes, you get 4 disc brakes on this Ford Taurus. And before that, I want to point out something, and that is the accelerator pedal is super sensitive. Like the moment you touch the pedal, it just goes like, and it's got a little bit of hardness to that too, because there's not much of travel to the accelerator pedal. And if your car, especially on auto hold, and I was just keep resting my leg on that accelerator, and it would pick up, and I was just wondering if it wasn't on auto hold, if it was, or what was happening. And then I realized, like, the moment you touch like a millimeter of it, half a millimeter, it just starts rolling. And then that's the sensitivity of your accelerator pedal. And when you come to the brake pedal, even that has a bit of sensitivity to it. There's not much travel to it. So let me do a 100 to 0 emergency brake stop and show you. There are emergency stop signals, and the braking action from those 4 disc brakes is actually good. I would say it's all right. It's good for a car this big, and this is what you need. Again, the steering was kind of wobbling a little bit, and there was also ABS that kicked in. Now when you come to the safety systems, you get 7 airbags, 2 for the front driver and the passenger, 2 side airbags again for the driver and the passenger. There are also 2 curtain airbags given on the frame, and there is also a driver's knee airbag that has been given, and there is also a single camera reversing system. The output from that is all right. I would say it's a little darker, a little saturated, a little contrast and that sort of thing, but anyways, it's still not too bad on a bright day. It's smooth and it's fine. And there is also child isofix points in both the rear seats. There is also ABS. There is also emergency stop signal. There is traction control system. There is also lane keep assist. There is also lane departure warning. There is also the adaptive cruise control. There is also blind spot warning system. So all of that is basically given on this Ford Taurus. So in that sense, it's quite loaded, and should be, because it's the top model in that sense. And when it comes to the pricing, so the base variant, which is the Ambient, and it also comes with the same 2-liter engine with the turbocharged engine and 8-speed gearbox, front wheel drive, that comes in at 140,595,000 dirhams. I'm going to put the exact price on your screen. Whereas this top spec, which is the titanium one, comes in at 160,595,000 dirhams. Now against that, yes, you still get quite a decent amount of kit, I'll be honest, because you get these lovely seats, you get this new infotainment screen, driver's display. There's also ample of space in here for comfortable. You can easily carry 5 passengers in this car, especially 3 in the back, which is quite unusual for these sort of cars, especially sedans, because it's more towards 2 people in the back. There's also lots of cargo space that you can utilize. So in that sense, it's rather nicer. The design is fresh. I like the design of this car. It looks premium when you look at it. It's got the striking look also, with those front DRLs and even in the back. And overall, it's a long car, and you can actually sense that It's a car that's going to offer you a lot of comfort during the longer journeys. But these are my words, but if you still want to check them out, you should definitely consider this car and have a look at it to decide for yourself. And also you get this lovely engine and gearbox combination. Anyways, that's pretty much it for this video. Give this video a thumbs up and thank you for watching this video. And if you want to subscribe to my channel, then you can click here. And if you want to watch more videos, then click here. I shall see you in the next video. Bye bye, take care and stay safe.